Hi, Davi here, and today we have a new episode in the art review series. And today we'll be checking out the work of Jakob Eirich. I did find this guy on the Pinterest, so thankfully there was a link that linked to this ArtStation page. And by the way, very cool. The software used was Clip Studio Paint. You know, I'm very happy that Clip Studio Paint is getting a little more love in the concept art community because oftentimes it's associated with like more illustrative work outside of the concept art slash design crowd. But yeah, it's just as good, even better in some cases. It doesn't completely overwhelm or it can't fully take over Photoshop, but it has its own space. Anyway, not sponsored by the way by Clip Studio Paint, just a big fan. Anyway, yeah, so let me just zoom in on these. I guess I was clicking a lot of like mecha stuff on the Pinterest that it kept recommending me these kinds of concepts, just based on the images we have so far. A lot of them are realistic, or they lean more towards or they're semi-realistic. Is it semi? I think at this point it's a little more realistic when it comes to the proportions, rendering. Based on their forms, I do see a lot of rounded corners in their shapes. So they do a bit of vehicle design. It's very cute though. It reminds me of like Japanese trucks. Like you wouldn't expect them to lift a lot, but they do lift a lot. We have some ship designs here. I'm just looking at the grays. I do think a gradient map, I'm guessing, was used after, because these types of grayish looks, they tend to come out from a filtered sort of pass, usually done with a gradient map. I'm not sure, but I do like it. And the rendering style is so freaking cool. Like it's clean. I do like seeing the brush spacing here. You can even see it in the wheels a little bit. And I think they're just using a basic round brush. I guess the reason why people use it because you don't need much, and it helps you just focus on the design, right? Because it's really more about showing off the details, the actual specifics of the thing. And it's actually kind of easy to render textures. I mean, you could save time by using like specifically tailored brushes, but you can sort of suggest if something is like reflective or matte by just playing around with, how you render stuff. And you can do that with a basic round brush. We do see a bit of a file here, a process file. It's a time lapse, which you can record, by the way, in Clip Studio Paint. So they're a direct sort of artist, meaning they just start out with, let me just find the starting. Okay. It reminds me a little bit of Anthony Jones. He does the same thing, very direct. It starts out with just a couple of blobs, or also a little bit of Martin Deschambault. I think he has a book collaboration with ArtStation. But if you look at his grayscale sketches, I think he does them on his iPad though. Pretty cool. I think in Procreate you have like a time lapse. I don't know. I think so. Very cool ship design here, and he does them very cutely. Like he almost does them small in a way. Yeah, I think for his vehicle stuff, because he's not very crazy. I don't see a lot of creature stuff here. But yeah, I think Martin Deschambault is a good guy too. For the motorbikes here, I think John Wallenberto has a couple of bike designs, and he also likes painting with the round brush. So yeah, I guess I was fascinated more with these ones, just because the designs are cool, and like I don't always get what they're for, but because you have like a variety of shapes, this one looks like a Star Wars kind of theme thing. Yeah. You do have to play with like different sizes, especially when it comes to like details. Like, how do you chunk each piece? Let me just pause. Wait, give me a second. Hi, my bad. I'm back. I did pause the video a bit just because I think something went wrong with my recording. But anyway, we're back. So let me just zoom out and see the rest of his work here. Because I've only seen that page so far. So it does have a website, I believe, X, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, DeviantArt, even the YouTube. So we'll see if we have some videos there, or maybe you can just check them out. So yeah, he does have a couple of, just basing or seeing his portfolio, it's very diverse in terms of style. I'm not sure if he himself is doing this or it's more of like a project, like team collaboration thing. You know, I am more interested in this like sketches. So, so here we have like a bunch of quick line work based sketches. I do like the grayscale stuff. I mean, this one we've already seen. This is pretty cool. It's just, there you go. We have a couple more. It's still with the same approach. Again, clips of the paint. The goat. Yeah. Round brush again. Cute designs. It reminds me of those dogs. Like, it's a common dog now. It's like a quadruped. Fuck. A four-legged robo, remote control kind of thing. It's kind of like a drone, but it's so weird looking. I'm sure you know the mech or the robot that I'm referring to. And you're just looking again on the way the grayscale values look. You do see a little bit of that green in the lighter values, like sort of lime green maybe. You do see that a lot again with graded map like overlays or something. Again, direct way of painting, starting out with blobs and then adding details over time. I think it's a good way of design, not just painting, but designing, because you can just, like, you're not even erasing, you're just painting over either a mistake or some kind of shape that you don't want. And it's a very free, or another artist would have to be Miguel Iglesias. They paint in a very direct kind of way. And that's also pretty fast, right? And once you've seen enough artists do this, you'll kind of know that line work isn't always necessary. I mean, sometimes it can give a lot of clarity, but you can come up with some, not just some, but a lot of stuff with just painting your ideas or subjects directly. Right? I don't see a lot of creature designs in his work. Because when I think of Anthony Jones, I just think creatures all the time. Although he does mech sometimes. And obviously human characters. So what tools? So he used Blender and Substance 3D modeler. Pretty cool. I'm guessing 3D takes a little longer. Because I've seen like some speed paints or speed models on YouTube of 3D artists, and it's like the total time is like 30 hours, 20 hours. I mean, I know some paintings or illustrations can last that long, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, if you enjoy it, ooh, right? Pretty cool stuff. Who's another guy, another artist who, I think Third Eye Art, or I forgot his actual name, but on YouTube his name or tag is Third Eye Art. I'm Ari Targonic, maybe. Who else? Mendoza something? I think it starts with A and then Mendoza. I know that guy draws a lot of, or paints a lot of dragons, but they have the same approach. Simple brush, and then they build it up as they go. And a lot of these like vehicle sketches, it looks like they come out of product design school. Like if you look at a lot of their concept sketches, it looks like this. They're very good with the gradients, the reflective sort of vibes or materials. And there's just something like it's such a sexy, like it makes you want to explore ideas more when you have good sketches, aesthetically pleasing sketches. And I think that's sort of the bet. It's not always about the design itself. I mean, yes, it's a big part of it, um, the details and all, but you kind of have to make it good because if you have good artwork, it just helps keep pushing the workflow forward. Like you'll want to explore more, you want to sort of finish the project, actualize it in its final form, whether in 3D or some kind of film or movie or game, right? So having aesthetically pleasing. So I'm glad they're posting the videos um as well. Look at that. And once they have, it's interesting. Once they have like the base down with just a few strokes. For example, let me just go back to the score. It starts out here, but once these strokes are placed in, they don't really deviate as much. So they sort of limit themselves to the original strokes they've made. So, and I think that's a good thing because you can waste time, a lot of time, when you keep sort of expanding stuff. So in the beginning, you want to sort of make constraints for yourself. So I think this guy, Jakob, is it Jakob? Jakob, he does that by just being specific with the strokes he does in the beginning, and then he stops there. He doesn't let it go too beyond. All of his iterations are within that sort of pocket, right? And if you look at his work, it's interesting, you know. Like one design is pretty different, clearly different from the other one. So there's variety. Like it's not repetitive, right? And that's important if we're trying to iterate and come up with a lot of different like concepts, designs. Ooh, I think that the vehicle stuff is pretty good, but I'm gonna have to go back to this one, the head stuff. I mean, I guess the materials of these like helmets and stuff, it's very similar to the materials of like a car in a way. And I do recommend you check out how John Wallenberto also paints his like, especially for the Jaeger mechs, how he paints the reflections of the sort of eye area here are really cool. It's very similar to Jakob Eirich. Although for Eirich, he focuses his sketches on mostly like grayscale. He doesn't do a lot of color stuff, obviously, because you know he does. If you look at his portfolio, he does a lot of like 3D as well. So maybe in the beginning, sort of idea exploration stuff, he'll just limit himself to grayscale. The faces do look oh shit, freaky. They look really realistic. Look at that. That's a pretty cool eye. Oh, this with the round brush supremacy. These ones are so cute. These sort of mini baby trucks. Oh, I mean, look at all of these intricate stuff. So these are like spaceships or something. Very sexy. Wow, look at this. Oh, maybe is Sparth a good artist to sort of reference here a little bit? Like when you have stuff like this, it's good to sort of break things down in values as well, because it helps make it more fleshed out. Like it's not all in one. For example, the grays in this area is very different from the grays in this sort of midsection where you have the actual like motor thingy. Excuse my lack of motor or vehicle knowledge. This one's kind of cute. It's like a UFO, but it has legs and arms. Or maybe it does fold up back into the body. Oh, pretty cool, right? This is interesting. They're tanks, but they're very smooth, like a sports car. That's so interesting. So maybe for like a high class environment, Maybe they need heavy like weaponry, right? But they need to be stylish as well. So, or maybe they're racing tanks as well. And part of the game is, you have to like win first place, but also you have to like you earn points by taking others down. So maybe it's for a game or something. Very cool concept. And I do recommend you watch the time lapse videos because you can, I believe, download the way someone paints. Like if you watch enough of their work or other similar artists' work and you see how they paint things, it shows up in your work as well. So I mentioned a couple like Anthony Jones, John Juan Liberto, Martin Deschambault, Miguel Iglesias, so many. Even Feng Shui also a little bit. And yeah. So that's it for this art review of Jakob Eirich. I will link this page in the description below. They do have a lot of links, right? I think on their profile, they're in like Twitter. I think they even have a YouTube, so you can check that out. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.